It's a final. I've seen this team. No disrespect, and it was the greatest final I've seen in Istanbul. Actually, they had no right to win that. Nobody thought they could win it before and at halftime.
Even after it.
and they won it. But look, I'm more thinking about the tactical side of it. City's gonna have to play a back five, which is now the run of the number 10 with the 5 and the 3. Dumfries and DiMarco, if they play, will be a bit quicker to arrive on your wingers are in wide because they will already be there. They will be there. So now you're 10. However, how are you going to create the overload? How are you going to open that back 5? It's easier in bracket to kill a back 4 with how City plays. But Pep might come with something. Just I want to see that. I want to see that battle, the 5-3-2, because it will be a 5-3-2 in the final. Because City will have the ball. You'll be down low.
I think what Thierry just mentioned there, we've seen Real Madrid come here and they're at a level where they'll feel they don't have to change whoever they come up against. Arsenal came here and said, we're top of the Premier League, we're not really going to change how we play. Over the last few years, Liverpool have been the same. We don't need to change for City. And Liverpool have had a little bit of success in terms of winning trophies and winning games against Manchester City. But Inter Milan are levels below Man City. So I don't think they can go and say, we're just going to play our game. I think they have to play a game of, we're going to try and nullify City. We're going to try and annoy them. We're going to try and bring them down a level. We're trying to maybe get into the heads, maybe use the dark arts as we talk, maybe wasting time, diving, cards. I'm not advocating that, but I'm just thinking that's the only way I can see Inter Milan winning the game. I don't think they can just win by playing their game and just think it doesn't matter who we play, because a lot of football now, the way the game's evolved, is that there's this feeling that more often than not, you play your game. You don't worry about the opposition too much. You have a set way of playing, home and away. And that started, I feel, with Pep Guardiola. When he was at Barcelona, it was like, we've got our principles, and no matter where we play like that. And I think everybody took that on. I don't necessarily agree with that all the time, because not everyone can be Pep Guardiola or have his players. But I feel for Inter Milan, they've got to try and find a way to almost bring City down rather than trying to raise to their level, because I don't think they can.
Is this a Manchester City side that could be rattled if Inter do go that route and be physical?
I mean, it's a one-off game, isn't it? Anyone can be rattled. All it takes is a red card or a bad decision. And we've seen it with Chelsea a couple of seasons ago in the final. City were heavy favourites. Thierry made a good point. I think it was yesterday. Chelsea played really well against Man City that season. So, it's going to be tough with Inter Milan. But I just think with the quality that Manchester City have, they will get over the line.
All right, we've got more still to bring you. We're going to take a very... Welcome back to the Etihad again. We want to start bringing you some more reaction from Manchester City players to their win tonight over Real Madrid. So here's Ruben Diaz with Peter Schmeichel.
Last time we spoke, you said there's a long, long way to go for the Premier League, for the Champions League. But now you're one game away in either tournament to win. How does that feel?
Feels like it's not done yet. Definitely very close now on the 3 competitions, but we've got still three finals to play. Obviously very happy for the moment special tonight, the way we did it, especially the way we did it, the way we were able to keep our ground and to show our personality and our way of playing, and obviously against who, but very aware that even though the moment feels very special and there's a lot of happiness right now, we still have 3 finals to go.
But do you realistically think that you can lose a game? Is there a team out there that can actually beat you?
Well, the mindset is that we can't, but then reality, everything can happen, and we're aware of that. Not just our own knowledge, but also the experience we've had the recent years. We know that everything can happen, and I think that's the biggest help we can have. The fact that we know nothing's done yet, and we know we will have to go there, and we will chase it like it was the first game of the season.
So when you're looking at your games, and especially tonight, it looks like that there is no pressure. It's just a game for you. You're having so much fun the way you play. Is it like that, or do you actually feel the pressure?
Obviously, we feel the pressure. If we didn't feel the pressure, I think we wouldn't play this good. in the end, the right amount of pressure, I think it's what makes you run better and run more when you have to, the reaction when you lose the ball, and all of those details. I think the right amount of pressure is definitely something that helps.
I'm convinced that you are going to win the Premier League. That is absolutely sure. And I'm also convinced you're going to beat Inter. But to win the treble, you got to beat Man United. I'm not sure you can do that.
Well, I guess no one knows, but be sure that we'll make our best.
Yeah. Well, good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Apart from one game.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. You wanted to react to what Ruben Diaz
No,
said?
it's obviously you're nervous or you're scared or you think about it. It's normal. Like the structure, like I said to you, will be what keeps you cool because they know what they have to do. And at the end of the day, like I always say, you know what you fear will master you. Always. Because you don't want to reach this type of thing. You don't want to reach fear. So you master that. But the structure always will keep you going a certain direction. Doesn't matter who plays or who scores. You win 4-0 and Alan didn't score. So I love the way also he speaks. Ruben Diaz always says what you need to say and not going overboard like someone on the left here said. They still need something. They still need to win it, but you know the mindset is nobody can beat us. I love that.
What a week this could be for Manchester City, Micah.
What a week, honestly. These last 2 days have been magnificent. The company of you, going to the San Siro, coming here to the Etihad. I couldn't wish for anything more. So thank you guys.
To go on the road?
No. You know what's getting on my last nerve, to be honest.
I mean, Real Madrid, we've talked about the grandiosity, right, of this club.
The what?
Grandiosity.
Is that a word? Is that a word?
Yes, it is a word.
Grandiosity.
Who's she?
Look it up. It is a word. Okay, we've talked about just their reputation in Europe, right? The legacy, the pedigree that they have. They have been the standard in Europe for the last, decade at least, right? Does this game signify any change in that? Has that now passed?
Past what? No.
You still think that Real Madrid will be the standard bearer in European
they
football?
reached the semi-final. They won it. Before that, they lost in the semi-final. They're always here, competing. And it's a Barca guy talking. It's like, I don't want to praise them, but you have to give them their credit. They're always competing, regardless of what it is. 50s, 60s, 80s, 90s, 2000. They're always around.
Were you surprised with Real Madrid today, though? The way they set up and...
We were talking about it, and we all thought that Rudiger was going to play. Jamie was going to do a piece about it because that was in his mind. I thought that they made a mistake, yes. And who am I to say about Ancelotti what you did was wrong? Because it's easy to say. If he did it well, say, oh my God, what an idea he had. Obviously, he doesn't do it. You're like, you should have done the other one. But I really thought that Rudiger was going to start, and Jamie, you say it because that's what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the biggest problem they had was not playing Rudiger was a knock-on effect, because I think if they'd have played Rudiger, they maybe would have stiffened the midfield up a little bit more in terms of putting Camavinga in there, and the midfield just couldn't cope in terms of Modric. Probably one of the poorest games we've seen him play over the last 4 or 5 years, Modric in the Champions League. He just wasn't at the race. He's only just come back from an injury, of course, as well, but him, Kroos and Valverde in there, they just couldn't get to grips with. They were always outnumbered as well. It's a big pitch, the quality of Manchester City, and I think that probably was a mistake not to play Rudiger from Carlo Ancelotti, and I was just a bit surprised he didn't make a change at half-time as well. It took him until, I think it was 60 minutes before he made his first change, which was bringing Modric off and Rudiger on. But so surprised by that, but I agree with Thierry that they're year in, year out. No one can win every single season, and they are playing against the best team in Europe at this moment.
Okay, cool. We're going to go to a very short break.
Just be Manchester City's greatest ever night. If they win the Champions League this season, it may well cap their greatest ever season, because by the time they win it, they could be going for the treble. I mean, I suppose it's a shame in some ways. There's no big night out or two for these City players. They're going to go straight home, do their rehab tomorrow and get ready for the Premier League game at the weekend.
Jolien's already sent out 4 Texas where's the party out tonight. Pep referenced they'll be with the family, so I'm sure they'll be celebrating to some extent, but not
to some extent. But it's a great problem to have, right? In a few days' time they can win the Premier League.
Yeah, these guys are serial winners as well. When you get to this stage of the season, it's not about celebrating before it's over. It's about celebrating the outcomes, and that is reaching and winning the finals of the Champions League, and hopefully winning the league and the FA Cup as well.
Well, here he is. Jack, come on over. Don't be shy. Oh, he wants some water, and quite rightly so. Listen, you're a Champions League finalist. You can leave us waiting. It's no problem.
Well done, man. Come in.
Mate,
Go on,
so
go on.
pleased for you.
How you doing, man? How does that feel, man? Talk us through it.
Yeah, no, unbelievable. We spoke last week after the game, and I was just buzzing then, just to be like involved and stuff like. Not involved. Sounds like a youth team player. Yeah. No, just like just to be in this moment, man. It's so nice, and now, a week later, I'm standing here again, and it's 4-0. I don't think a lot of teams, would do that to Real Madrid, but I swear, man, like, when we're all together and we're just playing and stuff, like, especially here, just feel unstoppable, honestly. Like, I don't know what it is.
You're looking. Well done, man. Well played.
Yes, sir.
Carl, congratulations as well. Well done, mate. You were just saying it just feels amazing in this team to play alongside the likes of Kyle Walker and.
Yeah. I bought him. When did I say that?
Don't go shy.
No,
not him specifically.
But I was just saying, like, when you come here, honestly, like, I seen a stat the other day of our Champions League games, and I couldn't believe it. Like, the amount we've won at home to what we've won away. I think we've drew like 5, in the Champions League this year away, and then every game at home we've won. And when Kyle will tell you as well, when we play here, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the fans or just playing on our home pitch. We just feel unstoppable, and we just feel like, even in the league, we feel like no one can beat us. And I think, we've seen what we've done to Bayern Munich, even Leipzig, and tonight here. It's unbelievable.
Kyle, take us into that first half. What was it like to play in the first 45 minutes that, from our perspective up there in the studio, looked dominant, looked brilliant, looked incredible? How was it for you?
I'm glad it looked comfortable from up there. Listen, it's tough. It's always going to be tough. I think the emotions is, sometimes it does take hold of you. I was a little bit like, how's this going to go? But listen, I thought the lads dug in well. I think we controlled the ball really well, especially in the first half. I think the second half, when we came out, was a little bit sloppy, giving the ball away in areas that wasn't really, we shouldn't have gave the ball away. But listen, we got over the line, and that's the main thing.
I was interested before the game about your matchup with Vinicius Junior, which was like everyone was waiting for it to happen. How do you, as a defender, approach that duel?
I think,
given he's world class,
yeah, he's
thrive at it.
Yeah, you've got to have a little bit of arrogance, like the attackers do. You have to. I always just say, just go toe to toe with him. I believe in my pace. I believe that I'm quicker than him, and that I can, use my physical dominance.
Speaking of that, have a look at this. Just have a look. This is what I love here. So he's obviously looking to get in behind you right now, isn't he? He wants to go in there.
Yeah.
I can see you there. You're on the front foot. Is this where you love being here? Because a lot of defenders do not want to be in this position at all. 1v1 with loads of space behind them. Are you happy here?
I'm all right. I always like to say that I'm a metre off. So I'm a metre off, so I can control that. But that step, I shouldn't really allow that step, as you can see it there. But I think as soon as, I think his first touch is a little bit little, and then if he takes a touch across me there, I'm kind of in no man's land. But he
this is the one.
Straight.
He takes another touch here, and he takes it across you. I think any other player in world football, he gets across that player. Yeah. But with your pace, you get your left arm out across him, put him off balance a bit, and you take it off him like taking sweets off a baby.
I'm glad you say it's that easy. No, listen, it is fantastic. It's fantastic, but what you have to use your strengths, and as soon as that arm comes out and you can knock, when players are running so quickly, you get that little arm and it's a little knock. It's not a foul, it's just a little knock. All of a sudden the balance goes, and I just make it difficult as possible as I can for him, really.
Over the 2 legs, Carl, was it more of a defensive role for you? Were you thinking, I'm not going to really join up with the attack too much because this guy, because half the time he cheats, he just stands out there, so you've got to almost just focus on the defending?
I think so. These guys should be able to put the ball in the back of the net. They don't need me to be setting up goals and stuff. So I think in this team, what I've loved since I've come here is everyone knows the roles and responsibilities. There's no, listen, obviously we've got Jack, we've got Kevin, we've got Erling, but there's no standout, superstar that you can say, okay, go have the ball and bam, 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 1, 2, 3, oh my gosh, it's a goal.
Your manager doesn't really want that though,
No, and I think that's what, gets us across the line more times than not where we don't rely on just one player. You know, obviously Real Madrid have got fantastic players all over the pitch, but you know, he's been their main threat. And as soon as you nullify that main threat, all of a sudden, have they got a plan B?
I'll tell you what, though,
sorry,
this man.
How good is he been? That's what I was
going to say. This
on.
man has been a main man for you many times this season. Without embarrassing Jack, just tell us what you've made of his performances this season.
Listen, I was. He knows I'm
Mate, he's so critical of
Is he?
I'm good
Tough love, Jack. You need tough love.
Tough love.
I'm good friends with him on and off the field. But, you know, I tell him when he does well, you know, and I tell him when he does bad, because I play against him. I play against him, and I play against him directly in training. He's a nightmare. He's a nightmare to play
What
against.
can he do better?
Tonight, no. At this point in the season,
but it's true.
He can't really do much better because he's doing what he needs to do for the team. But, you know, I've said to him for years to come, when I first come here, Raz, you know, he was more about the tricks and everything, and all of a sudden, goals. And I think, you know, if he can just add that to his game where he gets a little bit of, you know, a few more goals and chips in, I said, you know, aim for 10 a season. 10 a season is more than enough, and then with the contribution that you do in other areas of the pitch, you know, that sets you above the rest, and that's a
Well, how about if I tell you he now holds the record for the most chances created by any Englishman in a Champions League campaign? It's not bad, is it?
Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Well done, you got a well done here, look.
I should have had an assist tonight. I thought I lived there.
Well, I'll tell you what,
about that when I got
why don't you analyse Jack's performance tonight? Here's a run of analysis of Jack in action, because I think it's been difficult to criticise him this season. He has really been impressive.
He's the worst when he faces you up like that, because he's right-footed and he goes inside. The area that he leaves, or that you leave as a fullback, it's tough, but you know, and he buys the fouls, and he's very intelligent, he's very clever, and that's what he brings to this Manchester City team.
Well, it's also his stature. It's not as a case of just facing someone up, but if he gets past you, it's hard to get back in, obviously because his stature over the physicality of Jack, and they recognise that late on. It's a shame for them, because
I still think now, you know, I can still, obviously I'm playing well at the moment, you know, I feel confident and stuff, but I still feel now I can get more goals and assists. I've always said, like, it's never been all about that, because I know that I bring more, but
was he saying to you there?
I don't know, you know.
Little slap.
Oh yeah, no.
What you up to tonight?
So just before you go, guys, I know, listen, you're going there, Inter Milan in the final. What can we expect from you guys? Same dominant performance?
Yeah, listen, every game that we play, you know, we try and dominate the ball. You know, the manager in there is a genius. I'm sure he'll watch, you know, a lot of their games and tell us, you know, bits where we can hurt them. We know it's going to be a tough game, probably a team that will sit in and, you know, try and counter-attack. And they have, you know, a lot of experience. I watched their game last night, so listen, you don't get to a final by, you know, well, you can get there by luck, but you've got to still be a good team, and at least they are a good team, so you've got to give them respect. But we've got a few more important games up until then, so we'll focus on them and then.
Well, listen, we wish you the very best of luck this weekend. By Monday morning, you might be waking up as there in Istanbul. And I was thinking, that kid at school at St. Peter's all those years ago, dreaming of being a pro footballer, he now plays in the Champions League final.
Well, I got to train and play well for the next few weeks.
I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, no, obviously Kyle's already done it, but for me, you know, it's a dream. When you're young, you know, you don't even think of that because it's so far away. But when you grow up, I even says, I said it to you, and it come up on my Snapchat, you know, when it comes up memories, and it was like 4 years ago today, and I was just sitting at home, and it was like, I put, can't wait for this Kyle versus Neymar, going to be crazy. But you know, like now, then you're playing there, so
give me feel idea.
Buzzing.
All right, well, I'm sure he'll have some tips for you ahead of the final. It sounds like he's your coach.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Cheers.
Really impressive tonight. Fantastic. And actually, look.
Just drop it.
We'll take the mic. As much as we laugh and joke about, you know, things like, you know, Kyle gives me a load of criticism, I think that is a really interesting and fascinating insight into the way they work here. You know, like, the players take the responsibility at this football club, and that is a really healthy culture.
Oh, the standard that's set. I've seen a clip of Rodri going at Gundogan. I don't know what was being said, but it looks like there was a high level of demand, and that's throughout this team and throughout the squad and throughout the club, and rightly so. And you don't achieve these things unless you have that, and the standards are so high and maintained. It's not just about setting standards, it's about maintaining them, and City are doing that now, and they could set a new precedent with the way they got to end this season.
Okay, well, there's plenty more still to come from us, including hearing from the man who has taken this team to the...
Pep, well, wow, 4-0, a huge win of outstanding quality, would that be fair?
To be fair, yeah. At home we feel incredibly comfortable with our people, so... Yeah, I had the feeling that we had 1 year pain in our stomach. What happened last season. I think today went out everything that we had. It was so painful last season. When the people say lack of character of these players, during 1 year we show again how special this group of players they are. I would say a big congratulations for all organization, since our chairman, our owner, until the last person, because they work with a real purpose, and yeah, we are there.
Was that what you were saying on the pitch to the players? Because you're pretty much hugging everybody.
Yeah, of course, there's a lot of work behind, and you have to celebrate it. So when you reach the final Champions League, you have to celebrate it. Unfortunately, we don't have time because on Sunday we have the chance to win the Premier League. But,
terrible problem, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not a terrible problem. It's nice, but of course tomorrow we'll be with the families all together in the breakfast, and 1 day off. We prepare the game on Sunday.
You started exactly as you wanted. You gave the crowd plenty to get behind.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they showed the commitment in our intensity, that we adjust something, and the players were outstanding.
If I had to pick one, Bernardo, obviously. So he set the tone. He was pressing. The 2 goals, of course, helped.
The player never, in this type of stages, in this type of games, Bernardo's always there. It's always a set. He's one of the best players I've ever seen in my life.
Considering the quality and class of the opponent, is that one of the best performances by Manchester
Yeah,
City?
definitely. I said many times, so guys, we don't have to come back 1-3-0 down. So we just win one game, be ourselves. Madrid is, oh my God, well, what a team, but we wanted to. We beat them 2 seasons ago. Last season, what happened? Because the game was quite similar last season, like this season. So, but unfortunately, we didn't have the lucky enough to win it, and enough to know. But today for the Mino one, we had all of us the feeling these days that the people were ready. So it was calm mentally. It was so they make a lot of jokes these days. So I didn't feel tension on, anxious in any faces, in any behavior, and I had the feeling that today we were ready to do a good performance.
And June the 10th, Inter Milan. Did you watch the game last night?
Yeah.
Looking forward to the final?
Final against the Italian team was not the best gift, honestly, because they have and the competitor after this victory will be a lot of compliments. I know it's normal, but we have time to prepare mentally the final, and of course we're going to try to do it.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, guys.
They've suffered a lot in the Champions League, and now, I said before the game, I think that all that experience, they're just about to go and do it.
And look, this is the pitch where we believe they may well lift the Premier League trophy on Sunday. He's built a few teams over the years.
Why are you touching me like that?
Nothing, I'm just making sure you're okay.
Consoling you.
As we talk about the treble for Manchester City. Look, he's built some amazing teams over the years. Where does this current City team sit among the best teams that Pep has put together?
I still think they've got a way to go. They've got more trophies to win, to accumulate, to be alongside the great Barcelona team with Messi in it. I think that team, for me, is the best club side I've ever seen in my time. They destroyed us twice in finals. But this team is, we were discussing this off air before, this team is more about the team. That team, yes, you can say relied on Messi, but there were still great players in that team, but Messi was the jewel in the crown. Like the guys were saying before, Carl Walker, there isn't that one jewel in the crown that they rely upon at a given moment. That
that's
when
a
they
strength,
need to win
though,
a game,
right? Not a weakness.
That's what I'm saying. It's a strength. It's just a different way that he's built this team. So, but everyone thought Haaland would be that guy. They win the most important game of the season, semi-final, second leg. He doesn't score a goal. Not that he didn't play well, but he wasn't the guy they looked to get him over the line. So that shows you the strength of the team over any individual.
You can always tell actually what this team's like, because we get asked often from commentary who's the man of the match, and quite often when we're watching City, it's either like I'm not sure who the man of the match is for City today, or it's like, well, it could be X, Y, Z, A, and 4 or 5 names.
Because even Ederson, I've seen the clips there, and I've seen Ederson made some important saves tonight at crucial moments. So I think the system overrides any individual in this team. They have outstanding players that could play for other teams, but Pep's created a system and a culture that we've seen in the past that Kevin De Bruyne has been missing through injury. The team's still gone on to dominate, and so Rodri obviously is probably the only focal point in this team that probably plays and has to play in order for it to tick well.
The system overrides any individual. That's the simple way that this team has been built, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I was just thinking when Julian was saying Ederson's some of his saves, but Courtois was one of the best players on the pitch today. He was absolutely peppered in that first half. But no, I think the man of the match award for Bernardo Silva was a fair one. I agree. I thought Rodri was unbelievable, and yes, if he got injured, you would really worry, because who else can play in that position as well as him? He's the presence of him in the middle, never gives the ball away. I mean, but then you could go through it, couldn't you? Jack Grealish was brilliant. So many good players. I mean, they were top class all over today.
I think you talk about the importance of Rodri. I think he's been the best holding midfielder in Europe this year by quite a way. The consistency, the level that he's played at, the importance he is in this great team.
Availability.
Exactly.
Doesn't get booked, doesn't get sent off. Touchwood, very rarely gets injured, so that is a key factor to that position as well.
Okay, right, time to turn our attention now to Real Madrid. Carlo Ancelotti is talking to Des Kelly. Des.
Carlo, that must be very hard to take. It's been a great run in the Champions League, but that ends tonight. What can you say about the performance?
It was not a good performance, of course. Manchester City was better. They deserved to win. They played really well, above all the first half, and they took advantage. And then for us, it was difficult to come back in the game. We tried in the second half, but was so difficult because their performance was really good.
They did play well, but what was missing from Real Madrid's performance?
I think we could manage better the ball. We lost a lot of ball in the first half. They did high pressure in front, and we were not able to move the ball as usual.
Did you expect that though? I would have thought they go at a high tempo.
I expected the start of the game that was really intense, but I didn't expect that we could manage well the ball. But of course, sometimes in football happens this, that you have a rival better than you, and you have to accept the result.
And what was the strength of the City side? What was causing the problems?
No, they have a lot of quality. They put a lot of pressure, and so nothing new. It's a good team.
And what now for you? And what now for Real Madrid? It's a summer of strengthening and coming back.
Well, the idea is to fight and compete as we did this season, last season, in the Champions League and in all the competition. I think that until now we did well. We have to accept the defeat, because sometimes in sport you cannot always win. Sometimes you have to accept the defeat, and through the defeat try to be better next season.
Thank you, Carlo.
Games like this, defeats like this, they take their toll. What does his future look like, do you think?
I don't know. You can never say when you're talking about Real Madrid. They've sacked managers when they've won great titles, big titles, and when they